Welcome to Charter California Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance. We are joined by the mayor of Glendale. His name's Zareh Sinanyan. And this April, we are commemorating the 100th anniversary of the genocide in Armenia. What's remarkable about this is that you have a deep connection to that genocide, a tragic and sad connection. And I'd like to speak with you and look back together. Your grandfather, what was his name?
My grandfather's name was Zareh Sinanyan. I bear his name.
Right.
And that's just one part of the connection that I bear to the Armenian genocide, because he was a survivor.
Which was a miracle in itself.
It was.
We know about 1.5 million Armenians were slaughtered during World War I. We know that Turkey in its current form has been less than willing to acknowledge the genocide. What's your sense of that as we are commemorating this 100th anniversary?
Well, just setting aside the sheer horror of the act that was committed, the murder of 1.5 million people, the displacement of another million from their ancestral homeland, and loss of your roots, your cultural heritage. I mean, just about every vestige, every reminder of Armenian presence, 3,000-year, 4,000-year presence in the Armenian heartland has been wiped out, intentionally so, down to the renaming of animal and fauna that have historically bear the word Armenian in it, practically to that level. Setting that aside, you're also dealing with the deep wound which the survivors and Armenians worldwide have had to deal with. The stress and the injustice of having experienced this, and there being no remorse, no request for forgiveness,
it is interesting.
No repentance.
Right, because when you think about the Jewish Holocaust, Germany has taken responsibility.
Absolutely.
With regard to the Armenian Holocaust, Turkey, it was not Turkey back then, it was the Ottoman Empire, has been reticent to do such. When I think about the Jewish Holocaust, I remember what Adolf Hitler said, which was, who remembers the Armenians? The Armenian genocide was the first modern genocide. But what's also stunning, we're old enough, I'm old enough to remember survivors of the Armenian genocide. Survivors of the Jewish genocide are dying off, but I presume there are no survivors
There
left.
are practically maybe in the hundreds,
right.
If not less at this point. We just lost 2 genocide survivors in the last 12 months, and there are very
I would
few.
presume their memories of it are they
are
were probably infants.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about you and your grandfather. Your grandfather miraculously survived, made a trek through Turkey, Syria, Jordan, Palestine, back to Turkey, and wound up in the Soviet Union.
Wound up in the Soviet Union, as many diasporan Armenians were encouraged by the then Soviet government to migrate to what remained of the Armenian homeland. My grandfather took that step and ended up in Armenia, and I was born there as a result.
And that's what's remarkable, is that I am talking to the mayor of Glendale, where we know many Armenians live, but I believe you may be the first mayor of Glendale of Armenian descent born in Armenia.
I may be the first Armenian elected official, Armenian-American elected official born in Armenia in the U.S.
In the U.S.?
Yeah.
And so you surely remember, I mean, you've told me, you remember Soviet communism. I mean, you left before Armenian independence, but still.
I remember it very well. My family was a very politically engaged family, in the sense where the system was a topic of conversation every day at dinner.
Were they communists? And I don't say that pejoratively. I mean, that
they
was
were
the government of the time.
far from being communists. My father was, in fact, extremely unhappy and hostile to the idea of communism. And he saw things very clearly. He had an opportunity to visit the United States in 1986. And when he came back, I asked him what was it like, and his answer was very concise. He said, just as I imagined. And 2 years later, we tried again to migrate from the Soviet Union because my father and mother could not see themselves and their children growing up in a totalitarian system. We tried to move out in '79, but after the Afghan invasion of Afghanistan and the grain embargo, the Soviet Union shut down the border to all the Jews and Armenians trying to leave the Soviet Union.
Right. Yeah. And so, but you did. In 1988,
Yes.
you immigrated, but you got to see. Did your grandfather get to see the independent Armenia?
He did
nation?
not. He
we
passed
lost
away
him.
in the early '80s.
But your father did.
My father did, and it's quite remarkable. In '88, it's ironic, and I think it's quite recognized right now that no one predicted the speedy fall of the Soviet Union, and neither did my father, who was very engaged. He kept saying this country, this system cannot survive, but they were all, he was speaking about a 50 to 100 year time span. It happened in 2 years.
And think about the fact that a descendant of a survivor of the Armenian genocide is the mayor of a major city in our region. I can feel myself welling up thinking about it. I mean, it's very emotional.
It's very emotional, and it's a testimony to the greatness of this nation, of this country, where really the doors are open.
I wish, Zareh, your grandfather would know. Maybe he
does
know.
Maybe he does.
That his grandson, his namesake. So here we are 100 years later. What does it mean to you that there are so many commemorations in the United States of America for the Armenian genocide?
It's, I have mixed feelings about it. Part of me is obviously very thankful that we're able to muster the kind of support in the area, especially in Southern California, from all segments of our society, and we're able to commemorate in a meaningful way. And at the same time, the sort of greatness of the commemoration constantly reminds me of the fact that the U.S. federal government still has not fully acknowledged, and hasn't done the right thing, and basically said, even if Turkey is an ally, you have to be honest with your allies, and you cannot be silent or be political about things like genocide, about crimes against humanity, because what happens is then there are consequences. Bad people make conclusions, and the conclusion is, well, perhaps you can get away with it.
Adolf Hitler.
And you have
that's what he did.
The Holocaust. You have Cambodian genocide, Pol Pot. You have Rwanda. You have things going on right now in the Sudan, which are not really talked about as much as they should be. The horror continues, and that is only caused by the fact that some individuals and some organizations and some states believe that they can actually perhaps get away with it.
In some ways, is this month a month where Armenian Americans are feeling a sense of pride?
There is an element to that, I think, and I like the fact that the commemorative events are, the motto is Turkey failed, and the logo is a flower, forget-me-not, and there are a lot of cultural events which basically talk about survival rather than they got away with it, or it's about celebrating the fact that not only do we survive, but we contributed to the world and to civilization.
And we think about in Los Angeles County, the largest Armenian population, I believe, outside of Armenia. Soviet Union may be dispersed, but in one central location.
The case, yes.
And Glendale, I mean, what a great place, for Armenian culture, Armenian food, if I may say.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you, and I want to thank your grandfather. And I'm glad that we had this chance to talk about a very important event.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. His name is Zareh Sinanyan. He is the mayor of the city of Glendale. My name is Brad Pomerance. I want to thank you so much for joining us on Charter California Edition.